evening, everyone. My name is Akhilesh. Today we have with us Mrs. Lalita Datta. Mrs. Lalita Datta has achieved so much that I'm confused as to where do I start with her interaction. You are a graduate of National Institute of Design from the Faculty of Visual Communication with specialization in exhibition design. And Mrs. Datta has been working from 1982 in the area of communication design. So you co-founded and successfully ran a design firm from 1992 till 1999. The area of expertise extended from exhibitions to graphic design, advertising, retail, and film design. You have worked on campaigns ranging from NGOs to retail business, in-shop displays, to channels like National Geography and Discovery for a series of films as a scenic and costume director. You have been active in academics since 1992, teaching and doing curriculum development for design as well as creative communications programs for several institutes. Now, to name a few institutes, that would be EMPI, MET, School of Convergence, EPIZE Institute, and NIFT itself. You have been a speaker, moderator at Jaipur Bookmark, the Jaipur Literature Festival, 2017 and 2018. You have designed and created courses for business design, that is understanding and relevance of design in any business ambit. Presently, you are an associate professor at UID Gandhinagar. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Akhilesh. There were a few things in my introduction. Maybe I can rectify that.
Sure, ma'am.
So maybe we can, yeah. But more or less, I think you've said whatever there was to be said. I've also worked with the Pearl Academy for several years,
Yes, ma'am.
and with a smaller design institute called the Design Village, also with the Ansals University.
Yes, ma'am. We have heard of design
I've worked, yeah, I've worked a lot with the government of India, so that's another thing. Then with a lot of diplomatic missions.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's not talk about all the achievements. I would rather answer the questions that your students have put for you. So let's get along with that.
Yes, ma'am. So the first question that comes to our mind is how is design different from art and paintings? Because we do see a lot of people
Yeah.
who are very good in paintings, but they also want to pursue design. But they later on understand that like art and design is different, and
Yes.
they were
Yes.
opting to be a painter or maybe an artist, whereas they have landed into design. So how do we differentiate this?
So that's a very, very important and a very relevant question. And there is often a misnomer of what is art and what is design. And there's that very fine line between what is art and what is design as well. Now, art is something which is a lot of it is self expression. So there can be a lot more artists who can be designers, and there can be artists who can be artists. Art is something we grow up with when we first learn how to draw or paint. That's in our childhood years. We learn it at our school level or whatever it is, a home or whatever. We start with what is more art. We don't start so much with design. But as we go along, we begin to see the relevance of things, of how problems are solved by design, or how when we look at a poster, or we look at an advertising campaign somewhere, or we look at Instagram posts, or we look at what is happening on the net. That's also all visual communication, and a lot of students get interested, and that becomes then a different form of art. Pure art, or art in its pure sense, is definitely more self expression, I would say. And design is more for the consumer, or design is more for people relevant across the world, across the globe, across continents, whatever you'd like to call it. So that is the very, very fine line, which is the differentiation. However, that doesn't mean to say that the student who is enjoying art, or who's drawing, or who's painting, or who's doing sculpture or some other form of art cannot become a designer. That you must not. I think you must realize that
Yes,
that is
definitely.
something very, very different. So the artist can also become a designer for sure. And so that's the difference, or that is the differentiation between art and design. Yeah.
So like, if I have to pursue design, do I have to be good in sketches?
Yes, you do have to be good at sketching. Now, this is again a very, very wrong notion, which I don't know where this has come from, that all of design is on the computer. That is a wrong thing, and you must not advocate that, because design is comes from a very rustic, raw form to begin with. You have to understand everything, and then you have to create. Now, to do that creation, you have to have your basic concepts in place. And your basic concepts come through your sketching, through your drawing, through your painting, through whatever it is. So, drawing and painting are a very important tool, as is, or in today's world, the computer skills. Both are tools and both are skills. One is sort of almost you're born with it to some extent, the art part. Some people are trained and become very good with their art. They're taught and they learn and they become good artists. And some are born with that gift. Now, both categories of people can pursue design. When you pursue design, you automatically, in today's world, which is very technologically challenged, you do have to learn a lot of the softwares. You do have to learn. I don't have to do it maybe at this point so much, because, I'm not going to physically sit and create things. But for any youngster who's coming into the design field, it is important to have the basic skill of an artist, with your sketching, your drawing, and then the computer, the softwares is a tool. It's a very, very important tool that you learn when you go into any design institute. So that is an automatic transition.
I think there's something that is the most important aspect of communication design that you have covered. Like, people
Yeah,
do
of any
believe.
design. It's of any design, Akhilesh. It's not, communication design is one part of it, specific. But any design that you do today, you cannot do without certain softwares. You have to learn those tools of the trade. You have to. There's
So,
just no
what
way
would be
out.
the softwares? We're talking about softwares. So,
See, it
what would be the
depends
softwares?
yeah, it depends actually from discipline to discipline. Fashion will have different kind of softwares. Product design will have different kind of softwares. For communication design, we have different kind of software. Some of the basic softwares we have in communication design are Photoshop, we have Illustrator, we have InDesign. These are very critical, these three. In addition to this, the students work on Blender, they work on 3D Max, they can work on SketchUp. So these are some of the softwares that the communication design student works with. Then, as I said, the student who's doing, say, lifestyle and accessory design will work on a completely different software suited to their need. Somebody who's doing interior design and architecture will work on a completely different software. So all disciplines or all areas of design have very specific softwares that they work with today. Yeah. But if you were to put it in a thing, I think Photoshop is one skill which all designs students should have. It helps them a lot to put their work together.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what the pattern that I see, especially with students, because I do have a lot of students who are into various colleges, and Photoshop is the software that I find common to, like, almost all the
Yeah,
students.
yeah, yeah. That's a
So,
very helpful sort of
like,
software to have, and I think if students can acquire a little bit of Photoshop skills before they even join design school, it's a great thing. There's no harm done. There's absolutely no harm done. Okay.
yes, ma'am. So, I do hear people saying, because I think Miss Kavita was there during the our inauguration day on the first day of this of Meraki, and that's what, like, what she had identified and said that, that design is a new age career. So how do we say, like, no, how do we say, like, design is a new
Design is a new age.
career? Like, people are
It's not
going.
so new age, Akhilesh. Design has been there time immemorial, and people don't realize this. And that is, I think, where a lot of things go wrong. Design is something that's existed in our culture always, 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 always. The very fact India was one of the first civilizations that looked at design. If you look at our Harappan and our Mohenjo-daro, or what they call the Indus Valley civilization, the very fact that we planned our cities in a certain way, we created certain objects in certain ways, they were all designed. It's just that we've given it another name. you know. Uh, so design has always existed. It's now become a forefront thing because of the exposure, because of the things that have happened in the world, because of what is happening, how things are changing. So it's becoming more and more, I would say, global. It's becoming taking on a very wide perspective. But to say that design is a new age, I wouldn't agree with it entirely. Design has always been there. It's just that now it's come to the forefront, and today it offers a fantastic platform for students to approach so many problem solving
I
issues.
think if we look at civilizations, India's very civilization was the most efficient civilization that we ever.
Very efficient. And from there, I mean, you look at our textiles, you look at the heritage of textiles India has. India has some of the most fantastic textiles that the world cannot create, you know. And these are age old, these are coming down from centuries. So design has always been there. We have always painted things in a particular way, put it out in a particular way. So almost all aspects of design have existed. You know, products have been there in so many, we have so many indigenous products which we don't even look at. And I hate to bring up this very typical cliche, but I think if we look back to, I'm going to sort of digress a little bit over here. If we look back to where the history of the concept of design started, it started in the 1960s when um, Eames came to India and they formed the India Report, and they toured all over the country, and they found that one object which was very significant in the Indians' daily use, life, everything was the lota. And
Yes.
that form, that art form, or that form of that particular object is design, you know, and we've used it for centuries. So there can be no better metaphor to explain actually. What has taken us in a new age or a new challenge situation, I would say, is technology. And technology is something that is changing every day. I mean, the way I would have never even imagined that, you know, you can send an email. In my time, there was no email. You had to write a letter, you had to post it, you had to wait for the thing reply to come back. And who could imagine that, you know, you can exchange letters in 5 minutes just over something like a computer. So these are the new things that have come. Who could have thought before 2020 that we could conduct an entire class situation before the computer? We've all done it. So these are challenges which life throws to us, and therefore design also throws to us. And this is how we have addressed them. So this is what is interesting, or this is what is the beauty of design, is the adaptability of it in society. Yeah.
Yes, I think that's
I
what you have
think
said
maybe
is
I may go over people's head, but then, you know, I don't have gray hair for nothing. It's a lot of
no, no, I
experience.
think that what you are saying is like totally understood by everyone, and I think people can totally relate to it. In because I do see a lot of people even today at NIT and IITs doing research on Lota. So when you're
Oh,
saying like
yes.
yes, so I what I see is like these are like projects being done. There are a lot of research being done, like what how is Lota being designed? How is it's a very indigenous design that we say. And one more point that you said, like design is not a newest career, but it's become more versatile. It has become more known.
Yeah, it's a very versatile career. It has fantastic platforms today. I mean, I envy any student who's going into design in today's world, you know, in this 21st century world, actually, because they have so much happening. There's so much they can do. It is so exciting. It's very exciting.
How do you see the curriculum as what you have done is you have studied very long back, and now the curriculum is different, and now you're teaching itself. So how do you see the
Yeah,
change
so
in
the
curriculum?
curriculum has changed. It has substantially changed. See, the fundamentals cannot change,
Yes.
right, Akhilesh? So, what is the fundamental form of a design element? That cannot change. Those things will, in any kind of foundation program that you have anywhere in the world, and I'm not saying this because I know it, the elements, the fundamental elements of design will remain the same. They cannot change. What is changing are the systems, are the way we put those elements together, what we design or what we bring out from those elements, how we take those elements forward into a new context. That is what is changing. So by and large, the curriculum, the let's say the skeleton of the curriculum remains the same. Yeah, it's just that more flesh is being added to it every day, and it's taking on different forms. It's like a very bare framework which gets built and built and built and built, and you have something really beautiful at the end of the day. So the curriculum has changed gradually everywhere. It's become obviously more adapted to technology and what technology is doing for us today. We have the invasion of the VR and the AR, all that is also happening side by side, and everybody is very excited. And, there's a lot of propagation around that. But the fundamentals will not change, they cannot change. So the fundamentals of any curriculum would have remained the same. It's the refurbishing or the adding on or making it more, benchmarked to a lot of things. That is what has changed. And we've all changed with it. I can't teach today if I don't know what the today's child wants or what the generation is looking for. I cannot be steeped back to something that I talked about in 1978. That's not possible. Those are experiences. I can share those experiences to create something more, but I cannot be stuck on that. I have to have an open vision. I have to have an open mind to be able to adapt to curriculums in today's world.
So when you're saying that, the design has grown so much, like the skeleton is the same, but the tools might have been different. Like what you used to do, it was more sketching based, I assume, but today it's more like technological based, assume. Like people are more reliant on technological events, like maybe a computer system, which was not present before. And now, like people are more doing more on computer. What people used to do more on, maybe with pencils and colors.
True.
So now, since you're saying that since design has become too versatile right now, there are a lot of streams that we see. Maybe automobile design, animation, graphics. Now, when you're saying about communication design, it itself is divided into many perspectives. Such as what I see is graphic design is one mode of it. There's film and media. So there are many other ways also in which it has been divided. So how does UID as an institute fulfill these kind of aspirations for the students? Like, because those students directly come from 12th and then directly take admission into
UID, So UID, first of all, has a very intensive foundation program. The first 2 semesters are a foundation program. So, and most design institutes have that, not just UID. UID, of course, does, but a lot of design, every single design institute, a good design institute, will have a foundation program. So what does that foundation program do? That foundation program is the beginning of the skeleton. Yeah. It begins to assemble your knowledge. It begins to open your mind to doing certain things. Then by the time you've completed those semesters, you have got a certain vision that, okay, now these are all the skills, these are all the tools. Now where do I take them? Students are quite smart, so they know they want to do product design.
I'm sorry to interrupt, ma'am. I think there's some
communication design, or they want to do fashion, or whatever it is. From class 12, a specialized zone.
I think there was some lagging.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I think there was some lagging in the voice.
Yeah, there's some internet. There's some internet issues.
I think technology has its own
going up and down. Today, it's in past 2. So I can repeat that for you. I can repeat that. What I'm trying to say here is that the foundation program is very critical, and it's the foundation program which helps the transition for the class 12 student straight from 12, you come into the foundation program, you learn the bits and pieces, the skeleton is getting assembled, and you move into the next phase, which is your specialized phase of design. When you come into your specialized phase of design, again, you learn the fundamentals of that particular discipline. Like supposing you were to come into communication design. You're coming with some knowledge from foundation. Then you have to build particularly on that knowledge for communication design. And so it is for anything, whether it's interiors or product or fashion or lifestyle or textile. Yes. Now in UID, in communication design, how we teach or how we conduct ourselves is again, the first few semesters in the specialization area, again is tool building. Again, you get skills, you get tools, your mind opens up and you learn all the bits of the jigsaw puzzle. Then it becomes project centric. So from semester 6 onwards, so which is the last 3 semesters, the last two semesters, 6 and 7, are very project centric. 8 is a final graduation project, which is like a small dissertation which the student does. Again, this is a formula followed by most design institutes anywhere in the country. And so I think almost all people teach like that. So what we do is we give them accessibility to industry where they go for an internship after their 6th semester. Then we constantly have a lot of master classes by people who are in the industry, who come, who interact with the student. Even during this crazy phase of online, we got a lot of people to come and talk to them. They shared their work with the students. So it was it kept them going. Otherwise, it becomes a flatline situation.
That's correct, ma'am.
So we constantly give them, I would get revved up and learn more, learn more, learn more. So that's how we do it. We also give them, at least I know I do in our department, and my faculty are also very streamlined in my way of thinking. We give them a lot of independence also to explore their potential. So what happens is a student may want to do only UI UX work at the end of her 4 years or his 4 years. Some want to do only advertising, some want to do packaging, some want to do branding and something, some want to do publication design. So by the time they're in their 6th and 7th semesters, the end of the 7th semester, let's say, they've more or less figured out what exactly they want to do. And we as mentors guide them through that process. So again, the process of going from a student into industry becomes simpler. So that's how the whole process runs.
So then, see, if you're saying industry, what you have said is during even the lockdown process, you had called industry people, industry experts to interact with the students, to share the knowledge and the demands and the requirements of industry right now. So, should I understand that you have tie-ups with this industry people, with maybe the brands?
Yes,
or the
we have a lot of We have our students who go for their internships and their final projects, and they go for their jobs to several industries who've been coming, for placement. They come for industry talks, and so some of these are personal contacts, some of these are industry contacts. So we build on the sort of, I would say, the box of contacts, and every year we get more and more people. The students get a wide exposure. They go to lots of places. They also take their own initiatives to go. So the body, or the sort of the, what should I say, the kind of reservoir of industry people work, everything is sort of grows and grows more. And it has been growing. We've had some really, really good people internationally as well as nationally who've come and who've addressed the students. We've participated ourselves in many webinars as faculty. Some of a sort of holistic journey.
And so, what is the impact of lockdown, if I say, on the industry per se, and how is it affected academics at UID? Because what I know and what I understand is there has been a paradigm shift in how we actually learn things, because a lot of things have actually moved online. There's a lot of online classes happening every now and then. We also have seen a lot of psychological and behavioral changes in the students, as well the faculty and the management and the administration. So everything has become more of internet-based, online-based. So how has it affected academics? If it has not affected, has it affected positively?
So I think, I think as far as we are concerned, or as far as even UID faculty is concerned, I would say, we've reached to teach so many students online. We parallelly developed a learning management system for them to come under one sort of shelter, which is now finally taken shape. So we've also collaborated with Adobe to use correct softwares. So all that has happened. During the lockdown, we've taken classes online, but we have also given the students workshops. We have asked people to come and talk to them. We've spent a whole afternoon with just one designer who's come and talked about his work and talked to the students, and they've all asked questions. So we've kept them engaged, I would say. The problems have been that a lot of students live in small towns, small villages, and it's very difficult. Sometimes the bandwidths are all haywire, the internet. So it can be a very frustrating experience. I mean, I'm sitting in Delhi, my internet is more or less okay, but past few days it's been playing up. It just goes off suddenly. So there is no guarantee. But yeah, in spite of all that, I think we've done a great job. For visual communication, I can say that I don't think most of my students are unhappy. All of them have done their internships during the lockdown, every single student. So that's really a very, I would say, it needs a kind of a thumbs up like that. Then some of the students, when the lockdown was getting over, when the lockdown first happened, which is in 2020, say March, one bunch of students was going to graduate by May. So we mentored that whole bunch completely online. And they all did fantastic projects. Most of them have all got jobs, so they're also on their way. So one batch has graduated during the online. It's very sad that they were very upset that they couldn't be on the campus. We couldn't have a convocation. Those are the psychological traumas, or, I also feel bad. They also feel bad. We've all built up a relationship. Then there was a whole group of students who went for their internship during the lockdown, which was started in July, August. And again, every single student did manage to get an internship. Now that, because when you send in a portfolio to anybody in the industry, and if it's not up to the mark, they're not going to offer the student internship. So I can say very proudly that our students I think have got great portfolios. So when they've applied, every single student has got an internship or even getting jobs. And there are a lot of job offers that people keep writing to me all the time asking for students, which didn't happen in UID even like 3 years ago. So past couple of years, I think some of us have really put in a lot of effort. We've changed the way things are, the way things look, the kind of information that we give them, the kind of I would say the kind of knowledge, the kind of skill sharing that we've brought to the table has been very different. So it's been, quite exciting. Yeah, that's how it's been during the lockdown. So it's been good and bad. Yeah, sab jagah ek hi hai. I mean, how much can you teach online also? And that some students are just sleeping in the classroom. All those issues are there. But in spite of that, I think I would say we've done rather well.
What I understand is, I think...
I don't know, maybe I'm giving it a very high point. Somebody else might disagree with me, but I would definitely give ourselves 8 on 10.
I think we need to understand the challenges that has come with the lockdown. I think we need to acknowledge the reality that we are in right now, and what actually the behavior changes of the students might have happened during this lockdown is something that we need to actually understand. And yeah, as you said, the students might be sleeping, but I think that's fair, because I think in some sense they are also understanding. They are taking backup classes because of the recorded sessions that is happening every now and then. And I understand that a lot of people are learning more because, for instance, there was something like the students might have been absent in the previous classes. So the taking the backup was a little difficult, but I think now what they can do is they can take a backup of the class. They can learn it their own leisure time.
Yeah. Lot of good things have also happened, but it's stressful. I mean, you get bored of not having that face-to-face interaction. It's a different. See, a classroom is a classroom. You cannot bring it onto this platform and say that this is all we are going to do. No. The the very fact that a student learns is because of that hands-on activity that they do with their faculty, with their peers, their friends, whatever it is.
I think that experience can never be brought online, and
No.
something that we'll have to understand. Like people, I do hear people saying, "Okay, no, this is something that has come to the new light. It has become the new, mode of."
New normal. No, I don't agree with that at all. uh, it it has a lot of drawbacks. It has a lot of drawbacks. Yes, we have been very successful in doing what we are doing, but I'm not like 101% overjoyed कि हाँ बस ये सब ऐसे ही पढ़ाएंगे बैठ के. नहीं, can't. You need that blackboard. You need that. You
interaction.
need to see that student. You need to see what that student is doing. You need to converse with that student. That one-to-one interaction, little stories in the classroom. Those are very important. Very, very important.
That's where we are missing out. Maybe the personal touch, we can say.
Oh yes, missing on the personal touch. Definitely, definitely.
Okay. And so what if I say what I understand is I have interacted with a few students who are from UID as well, and what I have received the feedback is it's pretty great. The amount of effort actually, if I say to understand the effort that the faculties are taking, and how much of effort has been put into taking the online classes, putting up workshops, putting up industry expert talks. I think they're acknowledging this thing, and I think this is something that shows the maturity of a student, what I have seen in UID.
Yeah, so I think the students are overall, as I said, quite happy. And we've been able to give them, as I said, a lot of things. So, yeah, I think UID is definitely today one of the top of the line design institutes. We have a very beautiful campus, of course, great classrooms. We have good faculty. We have a lot of opportunities for the students, lot of opportunities. So, and I think the students do enjoy that. The day-to-day running of things, of course, those problems are there in any place, so you can't have everything. Nothing is 100% perfect. But I would say that, I think I would rate it pretty high.
I think what you said about the faculties at UID, I went through the website and I looked at the faculty's profile that is there.
Yeah.
And it's pretty amazing. Like most of the faculties are from NID and IIT.
Yeah. A lot of us are from NID, NIFT, some other good design institutes. We've had international faculty come in as well. So it's a very good sort of, again, a community of faculty who are very dedicated. Our faculty is actually very, very dedicated, at least most of them. There are obviously some.
Even like Kavita ma'am that I had heard her on the day of inauguration, she was so patient with the students, taking questions from the students, all the participants that there was at Meraki. So that shows how good the faculties are, how they are really in touch with the reality that students need to have.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I think she's relatively a new faculty, so she may not have even interacted directly with the students. But yeah, every single faculty, we've had new faculty also who've joined during the lockdown.
Oh, wow.
And they've also been, got into the system, and they've been very patient, exactly what you're saying. And they've also learned, and they've also sort of built their connections on this online platform with the students. It's been very good that way, very, very good that way. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us, for interacting with us.
I hope it's of some use to the aspiring students. I would like to wish all of them the very best and have a great year. Thank you.
I think the students will benefit much from it.
Thanks.
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.